Hello everyone, Arcade Gaming here, with the first episode of Dragon Age Origins. I first played this game, and I want to say it was 2008. It's a very fun game, very fun RPG. I cannot gush enough about this game. I can't remember specifically why I liked it so much back then.
The chantry teaches us
was...
that it is the hubris of men which brought the darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. The Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long.
I think that's a Ferelden soldier. It would have to be this light that happens in Ferelden.
It may even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Well, as I was saying before the intro cinematic, I don't remember why I like this game so much. Just that I liked it a whole lot. This game is the first in the series. It has 6 unique origin stories you can play through. There is the human noble, the circle mage, the Dalish elf, the city elf, the dwarven noble, and the dwarven commoner. I've played through 4 of them. I played through 4 of them back in like 2008 when I played this game on PlayStation 3. I'm currently playing it on Origin for those of you who are curious. Despite liking it and playing it for hours and hours and hours, I only ever beat the game once back then. And I believe it was with a human noble. I might play a human noble this time around. I'd like to go through all the origins again, because Dragon Age 4 is coming out at some point in the future, and I want to replay all the games before then. But, there's a lot of game to play. Especially if you want to go through everything, all the decisions. But I guess I should begin with deciding what kind of character I want to play. I think that I will go ahead and read off the tooltips or description boxes. I think those would be description boxes. Let's see. Men and women in Ferelden are generally regarded as equals. Ferelden is the name of the country this game takes place in. The world is called Thedas. Men and women are generally regarded as equals. Both genders are evenly represented in most organizations, noble houses, and military forces. That's pretty progressive of them, and I really do like it. I like that it doesn't give you any stat differences between male and female. But the races are human, the most numerous yet most divided of all races. Only 4 times have they ever united under a single cause, the last being centuries ago. Religion and the chantry play a large part in human society. It distinguishes them culturally from elves and dwarves more than anything else. Humans can be warriors, rogues, or mages. And for being a human, you get +1 to strength, dex, magic, and cunning. I will go over these stats in a moment when we get to them. Elves, they were once enslaved by humans. Most elves have all but lost their culture, scrounging in impoverished living in the slums of human cities. Only the nomadic Dalish tribes still cling to their traditions, living by the bow and the rule of their old gods as they roam the ancient forests where, well, sorry, had something stuck in my throat. Welcome nowhere else. Elves can be warriors, rogues, or mages. They have 2 willpower and 2 magic as their racial benefits. And now on to one of the more interesting races, certainly the most interesting you can play in this game, the dwarf. Rigidly bound by caste and tradition, the dwarves have been waging a losing war for generations, trying to protect the last stronghold of their once vast underground empire from the Darkspawn. Dwarves are very tough and have a high resistance to all forms of magic, thus preventing them from becoming mages. That right there is why dwarves were so interesting to me in this series. They just do not have magic. But they get strength, dex, 2 constitution, and a 10% chance to resist hostile magic. Despite finding the dwarfs interesting, I've never really enjoyed their origin story. In fact, the dwarf noble and the dwarf commoner are the only 2 origin stories I have never finished. I will keep the interesting race as a companion. You get Ogred later in the game. He's pretty fun. He's a drunk. I'm probably going to be talking a whole lot about the series as a whole, so there's going to be spoilers throughout this entire Let's Play. I'm not sure who I want to play. If you play as a mage, no matter which race you are, you have only the Circle of Magi as your origin story, which I can't say I like. Speaking of classes, let's go ahead and read over the classes. God, I am so unprofessional. Warriors are powerful fighters focusing on melee and ranged weapons to deal with their foes. They can withstand and deliver a great deal of punishment and have a strong understanding of tactics and strategy. Specializations for a warrior include Berserker, Templar, Champion, and Reaver. So specializations are something that's cool in this game. you can unlock them in a file, and then you can play as them in any other file. You don't have to unlock them and then play them in the same game. If I wanted to say, I mentioned Oghren. Oghren is a berserker. You can learn berserker from Oghren. If I decided to get buddy with him in this playthrough and learn the berserker specialization, I could take that berserker specialization and use it in my next playthrough. Same with Templar, Champion, and Reaver. I don't remember how to get Champion, but I remember the other ones, and I can tell you Reaver is definitely not on the menu for this playthrough. For being a warrior, you get +4 strength, +3 dex, +3 constitution. Oop, wrong button. For being a mage, let's make sure this is showing. As dangerous as it is potent, magic is a curse for those lacking the will to wield it. Malevolent spirits that wish to enter the world of the living are drawn to mages like beacons, putting the mage and everyone nearby in constant danger. Because of this, mages lead lives of isolation, locked away from the world they threaten. Specializations include Spirit Healer, Shapeshifter, Arcane Warrior, and Blood Mage. So, you'll also get +5 magic, +4 willpower, +1 cunning. Blood Mages are very dangerous in this setting. The whole reason the Circle of Magi exists is to keep an eye on magic mage users and make sure that they aren't becoming blood mages. There's really not much more to say on that than that. Rogues are skilled adventurers who come from all walks of life. All rogues possess some skill in picking locks and spotting traps, making them valuable assets to any party. Tactically, they are not ideal frontline fighters, but if rogues can circle around behind their target, they can backstab to devastating effect. They can be rangers, bards, duelists, and assassins. They get +4 dex, +2 will, +4 cunning. There is so much about this setting I want to talk about. I'm going to end up forgetting most of it and skipping over it. As an elf, since we're done with classes now, we're going to move into backgrounds. As an elf, you can be a Dalish elf, proud of your role as one of the few true elves. You have always assumed you would spend your life with your tribe, until a chance encounter with a relic of your people's past threatens to tear you away from everything you have ever known. Or a city elf. You've always lived under the heavy thumb of your human overlords, but when a local lord claiming his privilege with the bride shatters your wedding day, the shimmering racial tensions explode in a rain of vengeance. Do not make the mistake of thinking this is a happy setting. It is not. And I'm okay with that. As I mentioned earlier, the dwarfs' backgrounds are dwarf commoner, born casteless in a land where rank is everything, bound as the lackey and thug of a local crime lord, you have spent your life invisible, until chance thrusts you into the spotlight where you can finally prove whether or not you will be defined by your actions or your birth. And dwarf noble, as the favored child of the dwarven king, you proudly take up your first military command, only to learn that the deadly intrigues of family in Sycophants, I might mispronounce that, may pose a greater danger than even the battlefield. I'm not sure if you just heard me taking a drink or not. My throat is killing me. I have a cold. But, yeah, I've never played through either of these two to completion. I haven't. I don't care for them. There's not a specific reason either. Part of it had to do with the fact that I had rented Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, that's how long ago it was. I rented the game. So it might just have been I didn't have the time. But even now I still haven't done it. So it might just be me not liking the dwarfs, despite thinking they're super interesting. There's a fourth race, Quinari, in this game that you can't play as. I really wish you could. But I think I'm going to go for human noble as a warrior. Born to wealth and power second only to royalty, you find your training of both diplomacy and battle put to the test as your brother leads the bulk of your family's forces to war in the south. So this war they mention is a blight. It is against the Darkspawn.
Greetings.
A group of you could call them almost zombies, I guess. They are this unstoppable force that lives underground. The dwarfs constantly fight them. They've actually mostly destroyed dwarf society. Let's see what we have for tattoos. Yeah, I don't think I like any of those. I like long hair. I like ponytails too. Is there a longer ponytail? Yes. I believe this will be my character's hair. Let's try to find him a proper beard. This is kind of what my beard looks like IRL. But I'm going to go ahead and take this beard option. Very, very nice looking. I think Duncan has that beard. Duncan is the guy that we saw in the opening cutscene who killed 2 Darkspawn. And no stubble. Fuck Stuttle. Fuck stubble. Gosh, my mouth and throat does not want to work today. I think I'll take this for my hair color. And I don't really care about my eyes or nose. Let's see, what voice do I want? I'm a warrior.
Greetings. Ah, my spell! This isn't working! Need something else! You're in my way.
Yes, I think I'll use violent as my voice. And now to describe the stats. Strength measures a character's physical prowess, and it directly affects your damage in physical combat. It also contributes to your accuracy of melee attacks. High strength is essential for warriors, in particular if they want to wield two-handed weapons, and is nearly as critical for rogues. I've always been a sword and board fighter myself. I think I will continue that trend. Dexterity is the measure of agility, reflexes, and balance. Higher dexterity improves your character's chances to hit, makes the character more likely to dodge incoming blows, and contributes to the damage dealt by piercing weapons like daggers or arrows. Archery and dual weapon fighting styles demand high dexterity to master, making this attribute a favorite for rogues. You know, speaking of, I think I should actually be a rogue instead of a fighter.
Greetings. Greetings.
Go ahead and change voice back to violent. Change this. This video is just going to be a hot mess, isn't it? Alright, now beard. Little nice goatee for a warrior, but maybe not for a rogue. still works. And there we go. Willpower represents a character's determination and mental fortitude. With high willpower, mages can cast more spells thanks to a deeper mana pool. For warriors and rogues, it grants more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. Magic is a measure of a character's natural affinity for the arcane. It is crucial for mages, as you might expect, since it directly increases the character's spell power score, which determines the potency of all their spells. The magic attribute also determines how effective potions, poultices, and salves are for all classes. Wow, this cold is really getting to me, making it hard to talk. Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons. Most skills, such as herbalism or combat tactics, require a quick mind to master. An observant eye can more easily find weaknesses in enemy armor. Rogues benefit most from this statistic, as many other class abilities and special attacks rely on subtlety or reading the target, not raw strength. Constitution represents health and resilience. Higher constitution directly increases the amount of damage a character can take before falling on the battlefield. Alright, so I'm going to add all 5 points to Cunning. I believe Cunning is the stat that determines whether or not you can wield a certain dagger. And I don't care for this armor. Looking forward to replacing it. Combat training, nice. These are skills. They let you do certain things like making poisons, making potions, showing creatures on the mini-map. You can make traps, you can steal, you can coerce people. I would like to get I think coercion would be a good idea. I believe rogues also get a talent for lockpicking. I thought they did. Lethality, evasion, deft hands. Yep, this is the opening locks one. Very important you have those because there are so many locked items in this game. Now, what kind of rogue do I want to be? Do I want to be a dual weapon rogue or an archery rogue? I believe I will be a dual weapons rogue, just because I like having 2 daggers or a sword and a dagger. And I'm going to play on normal difficulty. Each of these origin stories...
For generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. Though we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought Orlesians, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. Hal, you remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad.
Well, each of these origin stories, as I had been saying before the cutscene started, takes about an hour or an hour and a half, depending on how fast you work your way through them. This is personally my favorite origin story. I like it a lot. I'm probably going to say I like it a lot to a lot of things in this game. I'm not going to spoil what happens during it. In fact, I'm going to try not to spoil much of this game while I play this game, even though I'm going to talk at length about the setting. This is Hal. He is an ally of your father, Arl Kuzlin. You are, I believe, the youngest child of the Kuzlin family. You have an older brother who's being sent with an army to go help fight the Darkspawn. Let's see. I'm growing into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad. You can hit numbers to choose these. I have numbers on the side of my Razer mouse, so I'm probably going to use those a lot. I'm going to go ahead and tell Arl Hal it's nice to see him too.
My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next time.
Ooh. Delilah. I think I'd like that.
Good. She's talked about you ever since she saw you at a fair in Denerim. I think you have an admirer, young man.
At any rate, Pop, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
Yes, leave me in charge. I totally won't go full tyrant. Probably. I will... Are you certain what's involved with such a task?
Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
Duncan is a Grey Warden.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Kuzlin.
Oh, Kuzlin's
Your lordship,
turn.
you didn't mention that a Grey
Arl.
Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
The Grey Wardens are a group of powerful warriors, mages, and rogues who dedicate their lives to fighting the Darkspawn. Duncan is in charge of Sorry. Again, throat's super sore. He's in charge of recruiting to help fight the current blight. So, they're an order of great
They are the
warriors.
heroes of legend, who ended the blight and saved us all. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about.
I do kind of like the ideal.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
So, the right of conscription, as you might guess by the name, is a law that allows Grey Wardens to conscript people into the Grey Wardens. They can point at just about anyone and drag them off into the order. Now, without spoiling the origin or any of the origins, there is, I believe, 2 of them where the right of conscription gets invoked. I guess we'll have to see if this is one of those. Now, will I see to his requests? Of course. I would absolutely be the nicest guy to the Grey Wardens. They do such a vital job.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
Where is Fergus? Fergus is my character's brother, by the way.
Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt, spending some last moments with his wife and my grandson. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
I have all the DLC,
Good evening, my lord.
so there's going to be a moment of codexes popping up. I'll talk about them as I use them, but I don't think they're going to be coming up until after Ostagar. But I do believe this has been enough for this episode. So, bye guys. I'll see you in the next one.